Slashers and Scream Queens, and welcome back to another episode of the Horror Daddies,
a podcast where we talk about horror movies
and the daddies in them. I am your host, the Horror Daddy himself, Carlos.
and I'm your film daddy, John. And Carlos, what movie did we watch today?
Today we watched 1985's Fright Night.
Oh, I wish there was more of that in this movie.
I know.
But
there
what
was
did
no
you think?
counting. I really do enjoy this movie. I've seen it 3 times already.
Jesus.
I mean, in the course of time.
Yeah.
Prefer it over the remake. This was one of those movies that I thought the remake was the original, and whoa, I was wrong.
Yeah, I remember the commercials for the remake, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting because like shit doesn't work like like the crucifix or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I never saw it, and then I heard that there was an original. So
Yep. That's what happens when you grow up in the 2000s as a young child and your parents don't tell you any better. But yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good movie. It's a great vampire movie. I prefer it over The Lost Boys. Controversial, maybe.
Ooh, hot take.
Maybe.
I need to watch The Lost Boys then.
I mean, it's okay.
People leaving comments now. How dare you? Yeah, I actually enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. I mean, I don't hate it either. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a fantastic movie either. But like for its time, I think it does a good job.
Yeah, I do like the vampire lore that they play on, and it's kind of like a Dracula remake in
a little bit, and it's very meta. Which Wes Craven, I'm sorry, but they had it before you, right?
It?
Yeah, it's super meta. They're like literally talking about Fright Night and about vampires, and then there's an actor that's actually like not really.
I guess
it's all crazy meta.
Yeah. I guess vampire lore is kind of like.
Yeah, I guess
it's always.
It's an interesting take because it's not very fantastical, and it's just like about like a hot dude that's like trying to fuck, and he's just killing people. Yep. That's it. That's all it is, really.
And we saw him in Child's Play 3 years later.
Wait, what the he's the detective?
Yeah, I said this last week.
I don't remember you saying that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And directed by the guy who directed Child's Play.
Yeah, Tom Holland. Not the Spider-Man one.
No.
He wasn't even planned.
No, not yet. Also written by Tom Holland.
Nice.
With a budget of $9 million and grossing $24.9 million, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I also saw that one of the fun facts was that this was the highest grossing movie in the summer of 1985. Second place was Freddy's Revenge. Yeah. Which that's pretty interesting to me. Can I say both movies very gay? This movie was very gay. Like, I thought it was like, it had a lot of alluding and it implied a lot of things that I was like, okay.
He had a roommate.
Yeah, roommate. It's like The Office. Like, does your roommate know you're gay? It's like, yep.
I mean, I just feel like vampires are just sexy and
yeah, like that's the whole mystique.
Their sexuality is just.
Yeah, like the whole mystique. I don't know if that's like a modern thing or if it always was like that, but it's supposed to be like, they cast a spell on this, person and then they can't resist themselves. And I guess maybe, but this movie was like very like the lighting as well. It has like bisexual lighting with the blue and pink. It like, I mean, the whole club scene was like super sexual. Yep. And the roommate, not a roommate.
I mean,
and there was a couple things that I noticed, like we can get to them when we talk about the movie with the main character, and I forgot Charlie and the main vampire guy.
I had a crush on Charlie.
Oh really?
Yeah.
He reminds me of someone. Oh, he reminds me of the kid that dances all crazy from that Jason movie. I forgot his name.
Yeah. Chris. I can't say his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He's that one guy that dances all crazy in that Jason movie. Yeah, part 4.
So our cast is Chris Sarandon, who is Jerry. We have William Ragsdale, who is Charlie. Amanda Beers, who's Amy, and Rhodey McDowell, who plays Peter Vincent.
Yes, sir.
And then we have his best friend, his name is Evil.
Yeah, Evil Ed. Which is so random. And honestly, I don't want him in this movie. It's the only character that I'm like, you're gone. you're done.
I mean, he was fine.
Yeah.
Super annoying.
Yeah. I guess that was his role. I guess he killed it. So
he sure did. So this movie starts off with Peter Vincent, or we have like these two characters or these two people talking very sexually to each other.
It was like Jonathan, which I was like, oh shit, and then some other person.
I didn't get the names.
Yeah.
But anyway, it pans into like the room, which is Charlie's room, and you thought it was actual two people, but it's just a TV, and they're watching this vampire movie that Peter Vincent, because Peter Vincent's a TV host for Fright Night, where he plays vampire movies.
Meta.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if what's that Joe Bob
Joe Bob, yeah.
But vampire only.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
And Charlie and Amy are like getting real hot and together, but Amy kind of stops him, but then she changes her mind, and then she's like, she wants some more.
He's trying to like cop a feel, and she's like, yo, I told you no, and he keeps trying, and I'm like, my boy, stop.
But she changes her mind.
She changes her mind a little bit. She's like, all right, let's do it.
But then he sees Jerry and Billy, the neighbors, moving in, and they're moving a coffin, so he gets super distracted.
Yeah, like, okay, this happens a lot where like something happens, they're like, oh, what? they like completely ignore everybody else.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I get super distracted. But he gets super distracted, so Amy gets mad. They start arguing. They go downstairs, and then Amy says something like, "Oh, well, you don't want to sleep with me." And then the mom overhears it. Oh, it's really funny
because she's like really loud in the living, like right in front of the door. Goes, do you want to make out with me? You want to make love, but then you don't. What? Make up your mind. And then the mom's like, are you guys having issues? Like,
did you know that 76% of couples divorce because they don't argue at all? She's reading like this divorce magazine and stuff.
Oh, it's so funny.
But then Charlie's still up, and they're like, have you met the neighbor? He's moving a coffin, which I think is weird.
And the mom's like, oh, I heard he's really handsome or something like that. He rebuilds houses, and that's why he moved into this one.
And we cut to the next day where Charlie failed his test. Oh, yeah. Because they were supposed to be doing homework, him and Amy, but they definitely were not.
Yeah, it was like pop quiz, and fucking Evil Ed is like, that's the point of pop quiz. And I'm like, oh.
He's not as annoying in the remake.
Oh, really?
No, he's not as
That's
annoying.
Good. It's because it's played by McLovin.
But it's also not as great, so...
Oh, I guess fair enough.
Why. So, yeah, Amy bumps into them. She's super angry, leaves, doesn't even listen to him. He comes home, and this super hot lady who is a sex worker, I guess, is looking for 99 Oak.
My God, I love her.
She's so fine. But
well, she's there to get murdered.
And murdered. Yeah. But Charlie's like, damn, that girl's hot.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, she said 99 Oak.
Yeah, that's where I guess Jerry lives.
Well, that's where he lives. And he goes, oh, it's over there. And she kind of like gives him the eye and walks away.
She can't find it because Jerry's house looks haunted and abandoned.
Yeah, every time they show the house, it's covered in more fog. Every time. There's at one point you don't see shit.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really spooky.
Because it's supposed to be spooky and anonymous. But he goes inside. He's telling his mom about the lady, and the lady's like, "Oh, well, he lives. I think she said she met him or something."
Oh yeah,
he has a live-in carpenter, so she thinks he's gay.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, with my luck, he's probably gay. Because she's trying to get dick down. That's all she's trying to do. She's single. And
hot neighbor, might as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So while Charlie's doing homework, he hears a woman scream, bloody murder.
Yeah, for like a quick second. It was like, ah! And then like lights turn off, I think, right?
Yeah, in the house, and everything cuts. And then this is when Amy comes to apologize. Or no, it's the next day at lunch, and Amy's trying to apologize. He's trying to apologize back.
Oh, don't they see like the body bag in this scene?
Oh,
okay.
So then he just hears a scream, and then it cuts.
That's right.
So the next day they're at school. He's trying to apologize to Amy, and then Amy's apologizing to him for acting like a total biatch. And
but again, she had a point. Like
she did. I'm not saying she didn't.
It was his fault for being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm not saying she did it, but. This is where he gets distracted once again.
While they're apologizing.
Well, because they show the lady's picture on the news, so he's like, I recognize her, and she was just murdered.
Yeah.
Who did it? The neighbor.
And Amy is not having it. No. Like, she is pissed. She grabbed, I don't know what it was.
Sloppy Joe.
It was a Sloppy Joe? Oh, gotcha. So this poor guy is putting mustard on it. She grabs it and just shoves it in his face, on Charlie's face.
It must have been cold.
Yeah, definitely.
Nasty. Ew. So yeah, so then we go. Charlie's home, and he's trying to get into the Jerry's basement, and this is when Billy stops him, and it's like, "What are you doing?"
The roommate.
Yeah, he's the roommate. I would know if they're together. But he gets scared by Billy, so he runs away, and then Charlie has been basically doing homework, and he's also watching the neighbor's house. And he's like sitting there, and I guess he stays up all night watching through his window.
Yeah.
And then this is where he's getting like real sexual with a woman by the window.
Yeah.
And he notices that he's a vampire.
Yeah, and she's like staring at, I don't know, she's like looking somewhere, but like it kind of looks like he's looking at Charlie. And Charlie's like, oh damn, a naked girl. So he's looking through the binoculars. And this is where you see what's his name again? I keep forgetting the neighbor's name. Jerry, yes, Jerry. Jerry keeps like licking her neck, and then you see that he opens his mouth. He has fangs, and you're like, oh shit. And she bites into him.
He bites into her, but he closes the blinds before Charlie sees it. So he tries to wake up his mom, and then she's like not believing. She's like, I gotta be up by 7. You're being ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess she's working nights, I guess.
Yeah, so she has to get used to the schedule.
Yeah,
and.
Oh, and they show Jerry's hand that has like long nails, but they were like pointing at his ring. That's not the wedding ring, right?
I don't think so. The ring must have meant something. I just didn't catch it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
It must be a vampire ring.
Yeah, because I was like, maybe he was engaged or something, but I think that's on your left hand.
He also had a lover. That's why he grabs Amy, because she looked like her.
That's true. So
that might have been something too.
Yeah, I don't know, because I haven't found true love yet, so I don't know about.
So anyways, he goes to investigate, and he's hiding in a bush, and this is when this is when he sees the body bag.
So for this victim.
And his mom walks out, she's like, Charlie! She straight up snitches on him.
Charlie's like, God damn it,
I mean, she didn't know.
I thought you were supposed to be asleep.
That's me when I'm calling my dog when he don't listen. And this is when Jerry almost finds him, but he runs inside. The mom thinks he's going crazy. And he then tries to tell Amy, and Amy also thinks he's crazy. No one believes his ass.
Oh, this is also when he's looking at them. This is where he throws the apple.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Because he bites into the apple. This is when they're outside.
Yeah.
And his mom calls him out.
Yeah, and he eats like literally through the core. Like it's like half of it is completely gone. Like he's a
vampire.
Yeah. So supposedly that wasn't even part of it. It was the actor's idea. And because he thought it would be interesting that this vampire has fruit bat DNA. So he eats, that's why he always eats apples.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I like that.
I think it was just like improvised by him.
Because I know vampires don't eat, but I was like, oh, maybe apples are...
Yeah. So he has fruit bat DNA.
Interesting.
Yeah.
His name is also Jerry, named after the mouse.
Oh, I thought Jerry Springer.
No, well, Tom and Jerry, the director Tom and Jerry.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's perfect sense.
But I'm just making that up.
Tom Holland watching the podcast. That is not true.
So, this is when he grabs the police. He convinces the police to come look at the house. They come over, and they're questioning Billy, and Jerry's on business trips.
Yeah,
His
definitely.
ass is sleeping in the basement because it's daytime.
It is so weird because, okay, Charlie goes to the police. He goes, hey, my neighbor motherfucking killed some people. Y'all need to keep an eye on him. So the police goes, okay, let's come over and let's question both of you. Like, that's not how it works. Because now, guess what? He has a target on his back.
It's the 80s.
Yeah, I guess so.
They didn't kill.
They really didn't.
Kid, you're about to get murdered because you a snitch. Good luck. So, this is when Charlie goes to Evil because he knows he's fucked. So he's like, Evil, what are the rules? So the rules are stake through the heart, holy water, the cross, and also he can't come in your house unless he's invited inside.
Yeah, and it's weird because Evil didn't want to help him at first. He's kind of like, why would I help you? And then he's like, well, I got $8. And he's like, all right, then. Here you go.
I mean, $8 must have been a lot.
Yeah, I guess.
It's probably like $30 now.
Possibly. I don't know.
So
and like, he also kind of looked like he was kind of making shit up because he's always laughing. Like, every time he makes... Like, he says anything, he's always, like, kind of giggling.
Yeah, but then the thing with Evil is that they don't really explain, but I think he's actually, like, a vampire nerd.
Oh, I see.
Because
Yeah.
later Jerry makes like, oh, they wouldn't love you and they wouldn't believe you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
When he's cornering
So he's probably
him.
like the horror fan or something like that.
It just doesn't come off.
Yeah.
Comes off as annoying and we don't even think they're friends.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he's a fucking asshole. Like, why are y'all friends?
So Charlie comes home. He's in his room. He comes downstairs because his mom wants him to meet someone, and it's Jerry. She let his ass in. So now Charlie's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You invited him in.
Literally, as soon as they were talking about it, all you see is his hand going like this, and the mom's she's trying to get it. That's all she wants. She's like, I'm sorry, don't fuck this up for me, Charlie.
I mean,
And this is when Jerry gets up, and he's like, yeah, thank you so much for inviting me in. You're going to be seeing me more often, now, anytime I feel like it. With your mom's permission. And the mom's like, anytime, baby.
And he also tells Jerry, you'll be seeing me very, very soon. So Charlie is very scared, leaves. And later that night, he gets a visit from Jerry. But he sneaks in through the mom's room, and then he like locks her in her room by like crushing the doorknob. So I guess it gets stuck.
He like pushed it back, so like the whole frame kind of broke a little bit.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So supposedly I was reading like some of the fun facts that this scene I didn't notice, but supposedly you're supposed to tell that he doesn't have a reflection while he's walking into the mom's bedroom. But I didn't see that.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I think she did have a bureau with a mirror, but we were just like
yeah.
no.
It supposedly that was the issue, is that they were filming this, and the director was like, you can't notice this. Yeah. You can't notice it. But I guess they still did.
They make a big deal about it later, which I liked it better that way.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting that they kind of show you throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. I just probably was writing and I didn't even notice.
So this is Charlie. He's like, listen, I'll leave you alone if you leave me alone. Don't bother me. I don't bother you. That's it. And then Charlie's like, bitch. He goes to stab him.
Hey, bitch. What's up, bitch? Suck my dick, bitch.
But also, I love that Jerry goes, you don't want to wake your mom up because then I'm going to have to kill her. Anyways, tosses him through the fucking closet.
Fucking Charlie tried like hitting him with a cross. So like, of course he's mad now.
That's true.
So then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking kill you. And I'm going to make it look like a suicide because he tries to throw him out the window where he has a fence and it's like a picket fence.
So was it? Oh, it was that. I thought it was that because he raised the window and it looked like it had like nails underneath it.
That too. But I think he really wanted to throw
just push him.
So it looked more like he did it to himself.
Yeah.
So Charlie stabs him with a pencil and Jerry freaks out, and this is when we get his monstrosity reveal where he's like full vampire.
His hair's all fucking crazy. His eyes are all bugged out.
He got the Khloe Kardashian nails.
Topical.
So this is when he leaves because the mom wakes up and he's like, I'll be back. And this is when he gets the call from Jerry. It's like, this isn't over. I'm gonna finish this because you just don't want to stop, basically.
Yeah. And Charlie's like ignoring the phone, and Jerry's like, motherfucker, I see you.
Yeah, and then Charlie looks through the window. It's like, oh
shit. So okay, this is the scene where I first got a little bit of sexuality between them two.
The roommate.
Yeah, no. Jerry and Charlie. So supposedly this was implied to be where there's some sort of connection, love connection there, and we get a lot of the blue and pink lighting because of the little neon sign that he has.
Is Charlie supposed to be over 18?
I don't know, which I'm gonna get to that because Amy definitely isn't.
Okay.
And so supposedly, yeah, it is a very different. I mean, Beetlejuice was trying to fuck a 15-year-old, bro. Like different times.
Movies that I used to enjoy. I mean, I still enjoy, but whatever.
Yeah. But supposedly, it was implied that this is supposed to be some sort of tension between them two, and you get I think it's the bisexual lighting is not a mistake because there's a little neon sign with those two colors, and later in the movie you get to see it more, especially with the roommate. There's a little something happening there.
Well, the roommate's cleaning his hand. I'm like, you can't clean your own damn hand.
Yeah, for real. You got another one.
But there is a scene later where they're kind of holding each other, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I want to watch that.
Billy and Stu vibes.
Yes, that kind of holding, and I loved it. Loved every second of it. So Charlie sees Peter Vincent on the TV, and this is when he has the idea to call him and get in contact with him. So the next day he goes to see Peter Vincent.
Because he's the vampire killer, and there's like a montage of him killing every vampire because he's always won.
Yeah, because Peter Vincent's in all, and he's like the vampire film person. Like he's in all the vampire films. But Peter Vincent, he's like, oh, I'll give you an autograph, whatever you want. You believe in vampires? I do too. Yeah. And then he's like, well, I'm getting fired because now all the teens, all they want to watch is basically slashers.
Call them out. He called all the slashers out.
Yeah. So his TV show's getting canceled from vampires to slashers. And this is when Charlie's like, well, no, the vampire that lives next door to me is real. You have to believe me. And Peter Vincent kind of like, well, I actually don't believe in them. I thought you were just like a fan, so I was kind of going along with it.
I just love that, like, he's just a fucking actor. And he's venting. He's like, this motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. And that's what he does. He just leaves.
He leaves. He's like, I'm not helping you. Have a good life. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So Evil Ed and Amy come to see Charlie, and Charlie's room looks like the fucking cave in Queen of the Damned.
Oh yeah,
because it's just candles and fucking I think garlic and
there's garlic, crosses. Yep.
He turned his whole room into like a vampire nose zone.
It was kind of cool though, but it was never used.
Where did all those candles come from,
bruh? Fucking what does that come? The Bath and Body Works, bro. He went over there.
That's expensive as fuck.
It must have smelled crazy in that room.
I don't. His mom has a crazy candle collection if that's the case. So,
and the garlic, it looked really cool. It just we never used it. We never went back.
They tried a few things, but then they end up using other things. They were going more for the stake to the heart type of thing. They do play on the cross thing later, which I thought was interesting. We'll get there. So then Amy and Eva are like, listen, if we can get Peter Vincent to come, see you and prove to you that this guy's not a vampire, will you be okay with that? So that's exactly what they do.
Mm-hmm. So he goes, they call him, and they're like, hey, I don't know what they tell him, but you see Jerry's response being like, oh, I love helping children. Sure, yeah, no crosses. Because he's kind of he's being an asshole. He's just playing into the whole, because everybody now thinks that he's a vampire because of Charlie. So now he's just making it into a joke. We're like, oh, yeah, no crosses.
Because I'm religious. And holy water because of something else.
Yeah.
But this is because Peter Vincent calls him, because they convinced Peter Griffin. Peter Vincent with money, $500, which must have been $1 million. I'm just kidding.
$8. They go back with $8.
So the next night comes, and this is when they go see Jerry, and they go inside the house with all the kids, and this is when they tried the holy water thing. And fucking Charlie's not playing with it. He's like, do it now. This motherfucker's a vampire. Do it. Show. I'm telling y'all. And
fucking Peter's like, calm your ass down, motherfucker. Like, don't be too rude.
And one thing that I thought was really dumb was that the night before he told them, don't worry about the holy water, it's going to be tap water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, motherfucker, tell him that, but actually bring holy water. Because he's actually a fucking vampire.
I thought he was just playing with the idea of being a vampire, like trying to be like, oh, I'm an asshole, whatever. Yeah. But then I guess he actually brought it, but it didn't affect him.
So, because it wasn't holy water.
I thought he said it was. It was blessed by a priest.
He lied. Because remember the night before on the phone, he told them, hey, don't worry about the holy water. It's just gonna be tap water. So Charlie thinks it is holy water.
Okay, I thought he said that to like trick him.
Which I was saying,
that's why you
said
that.
Stupid fuck. You should have just actually brought holy water.
Yeah.
Because you would have seen it, but it doesn't affect them. They're all leaving, and this is when Peter Vincent sees that he has like a mirror. He's like, let me just
to be so. But he was like looking at himself a little bit, and then he like looks behind him, and everyone's talking to nobody. And it's weird because in the roommate you can see him. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this motherfucker's definitely a vampire. But he gets freaked out. He's like, oh shit. He drops it and everything. Yep. And even Jerry's like, oh, you're good? And he's like, yeah, sure. I don't know. I'm just tired or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, this motherfucker's up to something.
Yep. So, because for me, like, Peter Vincent made this face like, you know what? Let me just make sure this kid's actually telling the truth. I don't know. I feel like he sort of
like believed him a little bit,
just a little bit, just to see. And it's true. Then Jerry thought everything was fine, but then he finds the mirror shard that was left on the ground. He's like, these motherfuckers found out.
Yep. And he's like, well, time to kill him. Sorry.
So Peter Vincent's fucking freaked out. He leaves, and then the 3 kids walk Amy home. And this is when Ed plays like a prank on them. Like, he acts like he got bitten.
Yeah, it was like stupid. They're like walking back home because Charlie's car got fucked up.
Yeah. Jerry fucked it up after that night he visited him.
Yeah, so then he's Evil is like, let's go through the shortcut, which is like this super dark alley, and Charlie's like, hell no, like if a vampire's up your ass, would you go too? And he's like, oh, whatever, bro.
Yep.
And I was like, he needs to die. Like, kill him. That's it. I'm done.
So he goes, plays the prank. He cries wolf basically, and they leave him alone. Then he's walking home at night, but he's getting stalked by Jerry. And this is when Jerry like grabs him and he's like, oh, you know, they've always made fun of you. They called you a freak, this and that. And
like, I know how it feels to be the outsider.
He's like, well, grab my hand and let me show you like the way. And this is when he presumably bites him and we hear him scream. But then Charlie's like, should we believe this scream now or you know, keep walking? And he's like, no, let's just keep walking. He's probably just fucking with you again. Don't fall for it again, Charlie. Don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, he's paranoid. Also, he's not your friend. Like, y'all hate each other.
That's what I'm like. Because I feel like in the remake, they make it
like they're actually friends.
It looks like more. I mean, from what I might be wrong. I don't have been a while. But from what I remember, I think they were actually friends.
Okay, yeah.
Even though he still acted like a fucking asshole, but
yeah,
there was more.
But he was like that
friendship,
that asshole friend that you still, you know, they still have some sort of friendship.
Yeah,
it's just that there's no moment that we're like, oh, they're homies.
No,
they just
from the beginning, Evil just looked like he just loved to bother him.
Yeah, and I was like, I think they're just friends out of convenience. Like they knew each other from high school, but I don't know.
I mean, they're still in high school.
I guess that's true. They never went back to school.
No.
They're like, fuck school.
This is when the power goes out in the alleyway, and they thought it was a power outage, but then you see that someone broke the what are those called? The power boxes.
The power boxes, yeah.
And they run away. They make it to like this city town area, but every time they turn a corner, Jerry's in front of them. Like, he's quick.
Yeah.
And they run into this club, and then at this club they're trying to call for help. No one's really believing them. They try to get Peter Vincent to help.
Everyone's just like
and then this is when we cut to Peter Vincent's apartment, and Evil gives him a little visit.
Yep.
And Peter doesn't know that he's a vampire until Evil reveals himself, and then Peter gets rid of him by fucking putting a cross on his face, which leaves him a fucking scar.
And then he looks at himself in the mirror, but he has no reflection. He goes, "What the fuck did you do to me?"
I was like, so can vampires see themselves, but we can't see them?
I don't think so. I don't know. I've never thought of that. Because every time I've seen like these like cute little artworks, they're trying to get their makeup done and like, you know, they can't see it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of funny.
You know, I always thought of like, you know how in, like Invisible Man or the Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four, like they're invisible, but can they see themselves?
I don't know.
Like, that's interesting to think
about. That is very interesting. Well, okay, so I think it was Marvel that did this. I can't remember, but they made a superhero because some scientists said that if you were to have the power of invisibility, you would not be able to see because of how your eyes work, because light goes through you. So, and your eyes kind of reflect light. Oh. So that's how you're able to see. So they made a superhero where they wear like a VR kind of headset, and then that helps them see while they're invisible. So that makes me think, I don't think you would be able to see yourself.
Now we're just overthinking stuff.
Definitely. We're nerds right now.
But from what this movie plays on is that we don't see them in the mirror, but they can see themselves.
Because definitely Evil sees himself in the mirror and goes, what did you just do to me?
Yeah, and then he jumps out the window and leaves.
Yeah.
Back at the club, Amy.
Back at the club getting tipsy.
And that was our sponsorship from Evil. So back at the club, Amy and Charlie are still trying to get help. Jerry arrives, and he's walking through the crowd, and Amy sees him, and she's starting to get this mesmerized by him. And
it's kind of like Candyman, that gaze that he gives them, and she's kind of like, she's in a trance. That's the word.
She kind of looks like Helen.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
And Helen looks like Amy because she came first.
That's true. And it's also, Candyman was inspired by like Dracula a little bit. Okay, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, because he's supposed to put her in a trance like that. So she's definitely like mesmerized, and they start having this sexy dance. Bisexual lighting as well. The whole club is blue and pink. I'm gonna tell you, not a coincidence. And they're having this sexual dance. And on Twitter, I saw that this was the hottest scene ever in horror or something like that. I was like, oh, I've never seen this before, so I was excited.
I mean, I want to keep calling Christopher, and it's just Chris Sarandon. It's just I feel like
Chris Sarandon. It just goes together.
It flows. Chris Sarandon. Chris Sarandon to me, like he's hot.
Chris Sarandon.
But he's hot, but he's not hot.
He's not your type though.
Yeah.
Like I know your type, and he's
and
not
even
it.
the one in the remake,
he's an attractive guy.
He is. I'll give him that, but not like I don't know. I can't think of one.
Like he's not your first option.
Yeah.
But like he's still like it's not
but I get why people like why women in the 80s.
Yeah,
or,
he's
like
in
women
good
like
shape.
even on my Twitter feed that I see sometimes I'm like over it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like
because even the one in the remake, I was like, they could have done better.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot who's the guy. It's the guy that plays Penguin. He's Bullseye. He's Bullseye in Daredevil. Okay. I forgot his fucking name, but he's Penguin in the new Batman movie.
I'll look it up. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's him.
Yes, him. I forgot his name. It's gonna bother me, so let me look it up real quick.
But yeah, they're doing this very sexual
Colin
dance.
Farrell.
Yes. They're doing this very sexual dance, and they're, like dancing on each other. And then this is a cool scene where they're doing like a ballroom dance, and she's twirling, but every time she looks into the mirror, it's just her.
Yeah, she's just she's literally just like this, like not doing anything.
And Charlie goes to swing at his ass. No fuss given.
Yeah, but then Jerry's trying to like buy her too, and and Amy's like, no, girl, no. I said no consent.
I take me to dinner first,
and then you can turn me into a vampire.
Maybe. But yeah, and then Jerry's like, oh, you shouldn't let anger get to you. And I must have blinked because chaos then started happening.
It felt like a Jerry Springer episode where just shit just started happening.
Because
I was like, whoa.
I guess. Okay, Jerry takes Amy, and then a security guard tries to stop him, which I thought it was the guy from Demons.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was the
me
pimp.
too. Me too. For a second, I was like, is that the guy from Demons? But afterwards, I was like, okay, that's definitely can't be it.
No, it's not him. And then the security guard tries to stop him.
Yeah, because Jerry swings, Charlie swings, and Jerry grabs his hand and kind of like, you hear his knuckles like cracking and shit, and he's like, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
And they run away. He kills 2 security guards. The whole club goes into chaos, and they leave.
Which is like, okay, Charlie literally said, "You can't kill me here. We're surrounded with people." He's like, "I'm not gonna kill you," and like just being an asshole. And then he just kills two security guards in front of everyone.
Yes, he did say that. But what I took from it, maybe, and I might be wrong, is that I'm not gonna kill you because I want you to see everyone you love die first, and then I'll motherfucking kill you.
So then afterwards, that's a good one. I think that's a possibility. I also thought that maybe because Amy doesn't know that he's a vampire for sure. I think he's also being like, I'm not gonna kill you, bro, like in front of Amy, so Amy doesn't suspect anything.
That's true. But then he just kills 2 security guards.
Right there.
So I was like, okay. So he does make a deal with Jerry makes a deal with Charlie. Basically, it's like, you and Peter Vincent come to my house, and I'll let Amy live, basically. Because he ends up taking her anyways with evil and stuff. And then this is when Charlie goes to convince Peter Vincent. How did he convince him?
I don't even know. I feel bad for Peter because he's like, bro, I'm old.
Peter was trying to leave town.
Yeah, like I'm trying to mind my own business. Why are you doing this to me? I'm just an actor. Oh, because that's another thing. He's like, I'm just an actor. That's a character I play.
Yes.
And he's trying to leave, but he feels bad because he's like, oh, he just mentions that Amy's gonna die, and he goes,
yes,
oh,
he
poor
uses
girl.
Amy. Yes, that's true.
So then he immediately goes boof, and so okay. I did see that supposedly the actor that plays Peter was bisexual.
Like in real life?
In real life.
Okay.
This is per the daughter, supposedly. So I don't know why this scene kind of struck me a little bit as in like he's trying to fight his sexuality a little bit. I don't know why, but I got like a hint of that. I don't know why. I literally was like, and then I read it and I was like, oh, okay, so he was bisexual. And supposedly Evil, the actor, was closeted at this time.
Oh.
Yep. And the scene in the hallway is supposed to be like a comforting scene of like, I know that you're different and everything like that.
I can see that. If it's not a vampire, just a normal human.
Yeah. And then,
sugar daddy.
And then supposedly Amy in 1993, I think, she came out as bi.
Okay.
And she was very open about it.
Wow, this movie's just...
I'm telling you, LGBT plus.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love this movie.
It's great.
So then we cut to Amy. She wakes up in a white dress at Jerry's house. This is when they have their real sexual seduction scene.
They're like pretty much getting it down. They're going.
Yeah, because he bites her.
And she's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
She was not ready for that.
Yeah, and you see the blood dripping down her back. And then we get to PV, Peter Vincent, and Charlie arriving at the house. They're ready to kill Jerry. And they're like, let's sneak out through the back so he don't find out. But then the door opens by itself. And they're like, well, he knows. So let's just walk in through the front.
Yeah, for real. And honestly, Amy has the craziest like first time having sex story. Because, okay, who can say that they got bit by a vampire?
Okay, well that... her hair grows, turns red.
Yep. Oh my God, that's true. She was like platinum blonde and then red all of a sudden.
Yep. So this is when we see that Peter Vincent tries to do the whole cross thing on Jerry, and it doesn't work because the only way it'll work on Jerry is that if Peter Vincent has faith.
Which that didn't make that much sense to me because he knows he's a vampire. I thought it's like if you're not sure that he's a vampire, then that's when it doesn't work.
That's true.
But he did.
Because, I mean, it did work on all the minions.
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe because he's the HBIC, it just doesn't work on him.
Oh, we forgot also to mention that they were planning, because they're like, what about Billy, the roommate?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and they're like, well, he has to be human because he walks outside in the sun. I saw his reflection.
Yeah.
So he has to be human.
He has to be human, which we'll get there.
We'll get there.
But then Billy tries the whole cross thing, and it works on Billy because Billy definitely has faith in that bullshit.
Yep.
And this is when Billy comes and saves Jerry, and this is when Jerry kind of goes behind him and kind of holds him very Billy and Stu style.
Yep.
Which I was like, ooh, I watched that one.
Yeah, and they were roommates.
They were roommates. So this is when Peter Vincent goes and runs and tries to get Charlie's mom, but she works nights, so obviously she's not home. But he thinks she's in the bed, which I'm like, that hair, she has yarn for hair, baby. That's not her.
This bitch wearing fucking Spirit Halloween wig. Yeah. No, that is not her, baby.
But we do see early she did have a Raggedy Ann, so I was like, I forgot it. I was like, oh, maybe it's the fucking Raggedy Ann, though. But no, it's evil. And
he's like, ugh. You know, his fucking voice.
You know, he looked like a demon from Demons.
Yes.
Which came out the same year. Which I thought was really cool.
It did come out the same year? Oh, that makes sense.
But it turns out that they get into like this little debacle, this fight, and PV ends up in the hallway, and then Evil comes out of the room, but he's a werewolf, and I was like,
yeah, because that's the lore is that Dracula can turn into whatever. So the most famous ones is a wolf and then a bat.
I was so confused. I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
It threw me off a little bit, but I was like, oh wait, no, that's like he could do that. He shapeshifts into whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's like a wolf.
Yeah, he's like
Twilight, but smaller. So
he's Steve Jacob.
Yeah. So PV like stakes him through the chest, and then he falls over, and then we get like this reverse of him turning back into human,
which is really fucking cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was really fucking badass.
Yeah, he goes from a wolf to like a werewolf to like a boy, and I'm like, they should have kept the werewolf look, but
yeah,
I don't know if money and time.
It probably wasn't a time and money issue, but it looked really cool because like his skin melts.
Yeah.
And then it grows back like human, but then he's like a midway, like his nose is kind of like a dog, and then his body is all fucked up, and it's actually super interesting.
And there's even one face where it looks like a baby werewolf, like baby werewolf.
Because it's like the same. It's like Evil's face, but it just has like the smallest details of a dog. It looked really fucking badass.
And Evil dies.
Yeah, he's just dead.
Guess. We don't know.
Yeah, he's just on the floor, completely butt ass naked in the Brewster's home. Which the mom's gonna come back from work and being like,
"Why is there a naked dead boy in my living room?" So while all this is happening, Charlie's trying to rescue Amy. He gets locked in the room with Amy, and he finds out that she's a vampire. So now he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then we do find out that the only way to save her is that if we kill the host, basically Jerry, by dawn.
Yeah. Which I've never heard that before.
Me neither.
So I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting.
I might need to read up on my vampire stuff.
Yeah.
So this is when Peter Vincent comes. He's trying to save Charlie. Jerry's kind of flying around the house. Billy comes back, gets shot 6 motherfucking times. He shot him 6 times.
6 times.
1 in the head, 5 in the body.
And he keeps coming back, but he's kind of like a zombie. He was kind of like walking like this, like, oh.
So we don't find out what Billy is, but then he gets, is it holy water he gets he gets staked through the heart.
Yeah.
And then he starts like melting, and it's like slime, but then it turns into sand.
Yeah.
And then he turns into a skeleton, and then he just falls.
I don't know if he's supposed to be like some sort of Lovecraftian monster where like you don't know what the fuck it is. Like humans can't comprehend what it is, but he just fucking blows up, and then he's like a skeleton, and then he like falls, and it just goes into pieces. So like we just never find out if he's actually a vampire. I don't know. I really don't know.
We really don't know what he is. That was the one I was very confused about.
It was cool though. Like his like deterioration was actually kind of badass. Like in the sand was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like it was so random.
He's Sandman. So this is then they try to save Amy again. But then I think this is when Chris breaks through the window. Like he has like this real big color.
It's like tainted
window at the top of the stairs. He breaks in. They're trying to do the cross thing again,
and it kind of works too this time because he's like, oh shit, no, don't do that.
And you see that the sun is coming up, so it's dawn. And you thought the movie was just gonna end here.
Nah, baby.
Nope, because they get into like this fight. The sun comes and hits him. He runs up. And like he flies away, his shadow starts turning to like a real bat. He's like this giant bat now, and he's fighting Peter Vincent.
The motherfucker looking like a little chihuahua with rabies on it.
It looked like one of those things from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Charlie saves him. He runs off into the basement. I just love that Jerry's like, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I'm tired, man.
Y'all leave me alone. I'm going to sleep.
He's like, see ya.
So they chase him into the basement, and they find his coffin. Amy comes down, and she's trying to seduce Charlie.
But she looking like Melina from Mortal Kombat.
She looked good, though, as a vampirist. She looked real good. But then this is when Charlie rejects her with the cross, and she turns it around, and we get the real big iconic reveal because it's on the poster, and this is what everybody's always been talking about, where her face is like this monstrosity.
Yeah, her mouth is giant.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. She was pretty badass. I wish we got more of her.
They used CGI in the remake, it just didn't work.
Oh Jesus, why?
So yeah, Charlie's fighting her off, and then Peter Vincent goes to stake Jerry, but Jerry wakes up from his 5-minute nap. I would have been very angry myself. And
you would have been looking like him.
Oh yeah, he looks fucking scary. I will say, if I watched this as a child, I would have been fucking terrified.
Yeah,
he looks fucking
crazy.
And they're
he does get staked though.
Yeah,
because Peter's okay. Because Charlie's getting fucked up over here, and he's like, Peter, and he's like, no, motherfucker, I'm over this shit. So he starts like staking him, and it's in his heart, but it doesn't affect him. He just takes it out, throws it out, and be like, bitch, what up?
I mean, I feel like Dracula sometimes may be more powerful than what we think.
Maybe.
I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.
Yup, because I don't know. Like, I feel like you need more to kill him, and they do. They use that. So
maybe he has to go completely through, and it only like pierced. I don't know. I really don't know.
Or it just didn't work. Or maybe he missed a little bit. We thought he hit him in the heart.
Maybe.
But this is when a window gets hit and the sun comes through, because all his windows are painted with black paint.
Yeah.
And
this is literally just the ending of fucking
From Dusk
Till Dawn.
But they did it first.
So they copied.
So the vampires from Dusk Till Dawn got Fright Nighted. So yeah, they start breaking all the windows, so the sun comes through, and then Jerry tries to go back into his coffin, but Peter Vincent closes and doesn't let him. And then when he's about to kill Peter Vincent, Charlie just runs by him and opens up the fucking window behind him, and then he just gets blown away.
Yeah,
by
he's
the
like,
sun.
he flies away, like literally like green flame all over him.
And he starts burning away. He hides Amy underneath so she doesn't get hit by the sun. And Jerry dies. Amy's safe. Her hair goes back to blonde and short.
She should have stayed the same.
I don't know why that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if it is, I need it.
We were watching a show like, what's that? We're All Dead.
Oh,
and,
all of us are dead.
All of us are dead. And then like some random ass character just has red hair. She's the only one. I don't know why that's such a distinct thing.
And she was the rich one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The only rich one. Anyways. So yeah, then we get that Peter Vincent got his show back. I don't know why made the channels change. Maybe they told him the story. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but I guess he got it back. I guess they were probably like, maybe people do watch this. But it was weird because he doesn't cover his own movies. He goes, I'm gonna cover something that I'm not in.
Okay, so I think it was that he stayed with the vampire look, but he's now covering other movies because the movie he's covering, I think it's an actual movie. It's like aliens come into like a camp and they start attacking people at camp, which. It's an actual movie. I just don't think if that was the actual movie, but there is a movie about that.
Oh, gotcha.
Which it looks really fucking cool.
It looks crazy.
I just gotta find it. It's from the 80s too.
And then he gives a shout out to Charlie because he goes, I'm the vampire killer. We've always won, right, Charlie, or something like that. And Charlie's like, this crazy guy. Let me get laid now.
Yeah, because him and Amy are getting into it. But then he see that there were some glowing red eyes across the other house, Jerry's house.
It's kind of creepy because like you kind of see it for a second, and Charlie's like, "What happened over there?"
Distracted once again, and then the movie cuts to black, and we hear Evil laughing. So
he goes, "You're so cool, Brewster."
Yeah. So the evil live was that,
which that would make no damn sense. But
it wouldn't. But you know what? It's vampires. So I'll leave it.
Yep. But and that was
Fright Night, 1985.
That was great. So, Carlos, you have any reviews that you would like to read us?
I do. So, my first review is going to be my 5-star review, which goes a little bit like this. A marvelous horror comedy which looks forward and back, not to mention one of the best vampire films ever made, directed with a mischievous aplomb by Tom Holland, with a game cast. Oh my goodness, Chris Sarandon was so fucking hot. 5 stars.
I'm gonna read you my 5 stars because it's kind of funny because it ends similarly. So it goes, "Excuse me, but I don't care if this makes me sound like a fruitcake, but this is the best fucking movie in the universe." Jerry Danger, how do you say that? Dangerdridge?
I forgot how to say it.
Jerry is one hot motherfucker, and I'm in love with him. It's like all the positive reviews were about Jerry.
I mean, honestly, that's how I'm gonna start writing reviews because I was like, I don't know how to write reviews. The movie was good, 5 stars. Like, I don't know. My bad review. I was so bored watching this film, I should have chosen to rewatch the Twilight Saga. Listen, I'm not saying names, but I saw this person's favorite movies, and I'm fuck you.
What was his number 1? It was like a High School Musical.
2. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, the second one is the best one, though.
Yeah, but it's not as good as this.
Yeah, definitely not.
Twilight's not even as good as this. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, go ahead.
So, my 1-star review, it says, it's kind of long, but it says, I didn't even finish it, which honestly, I should probably just leave it at that.
I love that your 1-star review also has a heart next to it, so they liked it.
Yeah, which people need to get this shit together. I don't get it. But it says, I didn't even finish it, which I should just stop it there and not finish his review. But I'm not that petty. But oh my God, what a bad movie to end this Horror-tober, which I guess he's celebrating that.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a
people
thing.
do it at 31 days of horror movies.
Oh, gotcha. The main character is annoying as hell, and yet he's the only one you should believe, which makes him, and every other character even more annoying. Okay, gotcha. The visual effects and the camera moved were simply not it. It makes no fucking sense why Peter Vincent would not have faith in the crucifix thing if it worked for him literally hours earlier, which he has a point there. Don't know why that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. And how do I not mention the whole thing between the grown-ass adult and a girl that's not even 17? And somehow it is still very gay, and I enjoyed some of it. What? Which is true. I mean, it's, I guess, a time era where like age didn't fucking matter.
When I first watched it, I was like, isn't he like 200 or whatever how old he is, and she's like 17?
Yeah. But you can say the same thing with fucking Twilight.
We could. We could, because we also don't know how, but they also don't give us her age.
Yeah, they don't tell us. They're just in high school. So God knows they're senior, but 18.
I graduated at 19, so I could have, they could be 18.
Yeah. I had just graduated when I just turned 18, so it's like, It could, I don't know. But again, it's like a different time. Like I said, Beetlejuice was trying to fuck a 14-year-old, so.
And don't act like you wouldn't be a 17-year-old girl and be like, oh, Krista Randon? Like, girl.
In a trance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But do you have a specific kill that you liked in this movie?
I'm going to go with the werewolf.
Yeah.
Because of the whole transforming back thing going on.
Yeah, that one is definitely my favorite one, but the close second has to be Billy's because I thought it was so fucking weird and out of nowhere that it actually I really enjoyed it.
Because like we don't see the human kills. They do.
Oh,
We
yeah,
just hear
we don't.
screams. Except the 2 security guards at the club.
Yeah, but those were so simple. It was like kind of like throw them and that's
like,
it. Yep, disposed. But yeah, that's definitely it. And the daddy of the movie?
For me, it's gonna be Charlie.
Charlie? Really?
I always found Charlie adorable.
Yeah, he is a pretty adorable guy. He's just like unfortunately, he's just annoying, but
I believed him.
yeah.
I would have believed him.
It's like
he don't deserve it.
Carlos would be like, "What's up?
Where is he?"
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say Jerry because he just,
Jerry,
he's sensual and shit.
Jerry do hit different, but
He got that confidence of a vampire.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, he is.
and is that it?
That's pretty much it.
Oh
That's
my-
the episode.
Well, that was the episode, y'all. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let me know what vampire movies you prefer in the 80s.
Yeah, please
Because
write us
I
in
know
the
I
comments.
said that I didn't like Lost Boys as much as this. Sorry.
Yeah, we might cover it eventually. We were fighting
We
between
will.
Lost Boys and
And this
Fright
one,
Night.
but
I've never seen either, but I've always been interested in Fright Night because of the remake.
I chose this one.
Yeah.
Also, what was your favorite moment from this movie? And for next week, we are so next week is next month already. So we are just since it's February and it's Valentine's month or whatever. I just whatever. People don't celebrate it. Who cares? But we are deciding to call it Bride Month. So we're gonna cover movies that have bride in the title of the movie. So we chose 3, and we chose 3 because in the second week or third week we're gonna cover the Texas Chainsaw Massacre requel that has going to Netflix.
Yeah, so that's the only exception for that month. So I know we just found that there's a Bride of Dracula, but we're like, well, we're still gonna have to cover Texas Chainsaw. So
And it whatever. And there was also Ready or Not, but anyway. So we're gonna go with Bride of Frankenstein next week, and then we'll do Bride of Chucky, Texas Chainsaw, and Bride of Reanimator, which we'll have a special guest on for. So yeah, that's the month of February, y'all.
yeah, well, I hope you sit here and enjoy the episode. And hopefully you join us next month for the Bride Month.
Bride Month, and make sure to like and subscribe,
Yes, thank you so much,
And
guys.
comment.
And comment, please, and tell everybody.
and show me lots of love.
All of our social medias are down below. You can you can follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
Both of our own Twitters are there, but also the Horror Daddies version. And there is there Instagram. Our merchandise store is in there as well if you want to support us. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening.
And remember,
Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
Horror Daddies.
see you in your dreams. Well.